Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, and good morning. And good morning, and good morning to everyone here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone. What a blessing to see your smiling faces here this morning. Thank you for being here in person and on the big screen. We're so grateful that you could join us here today at the Center of Love, a multi-denominational spiritual community founded on a few simple premises. First, that all is one, that the universe, nature, and ourselves with it form a single unified whole. And second, that love is the unitive power, the connective tissue that holds the entire enchilada together. And so, based on these agreements, we have gathered here to walk the path of love together. And as you know, we're in very good company. When we study the great faith traditions of the past, we find that the path of love runs right through them, is foundational and essential to all of them, even though sometimes the path of love can become obscured by what I like to call temporal or relative truths, right? Don't eat pork. Don't wear mixed fibers. Okay, that's cool. Back then they needed that, but that's a cultural, era-specific relative truth. The path of love deals with universal truth that runs through all times and all cultures. And that's what we're here to practice, this religion that is underneath all other religions. And when we strip away all the temporal stuff, what we find is this single spiritual path, a handful of basic truths, and at the very center, we find, of course, love. And so by focusing on love, we clarify and simplify and consolidate the spiritual path. What truly matters comes into focus, and we realize we don't have to be Buddhas and Christs in order to walk this path. Indeed, we have everything we need right here, right now, and we are up to the task. That profound messenger of love, Rumi, nails it. He wrote, "Bringing joy to one heart with love is better than 1,000 repetitive prayer recitings." Hail Mary. You don't have to recite any of that stuff. All you got to do is bring joy to one heart with love, and you are on the path, my friends. Anybody can do that. And so to me, that's very heartening to know. Jesus did the same thing. He was trying to consolidate, right? He had all this tradition behind him. He came in, a lawyer said, "Jesus, what's the greatest commandment?" Jesus said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." Well, what's the second most important law? Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." And then just to make sure that everybody got the point, he said, "All of the law and prophets hang on these commandments alone." So if all you do is love your God and love your neighbor, you're doing it. That's it. That's the path of love in a nutshell. It's not about reciting memorized prayers. It's not about following elaborate prescriptions from gurus and New Age teachers. It's about opening our hearts and flooding the world with love. You've seen the state of things out there, my friends, the prevalence of fear and division, and how these things bring out the worst in humanity, and also lead us quite swiftly toward what appears to be our extinction. Not to be too grim on this fine Sunday morning. You've also ascertained that the best way to combat fear and division is through love and unity. And that's one of the reasons I imagine you're here this morning with us. Now, I don't know about you, my friends, but I experience many setbacks on the path of love because it's not easy to lead with love in all that we do, to be messengers of love, to build bridges instead of walls, and to abstain from judging ourselves and others as we stumble and try again. And so even though the path of love is simple, it's not easy, which is why we come together as a community to support each other, to hold each other up when we need a little bit more of that support, and to share our wisdom and our experiences so that we can become more impactful messengers of love out in the world. So that's the center of love right there, my friends. You're all in it. We're all here together. And even the cat is part of it, as you can see.
Bringing lots of joy.
My name is Ollie. In case you didn't know, I'm sure everybody here knows me, reporting live to you from the path of love. All right. I'm a correspondent here in the war zone and reporting from the path of love. And as you can see, our friends, our scheduled speakers, Lassie and Glenn, are not here today. Unfortunately, they experienced a loss very recently, someone very close to them. And so today, they're rightfully taking some time to recharge their batteries and grieve. And so in the next few days, if you can, reach out to them, tell them that they're in our hearts, send them your love. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching this in posterity, Lassie and Glenn, we love you guys. Take care, and we'll see you very soon. And so because of this change of plans, it's a little bit slapdash, put it together in a couple days. And so we thought we might try something a little bit different today. As you can tell, we've got a different setup. It's just going to be a nice, friendly, casual conversation among friends. And the subject, of course, is going to be the path of love. And more importantly, stories, insights, wisdom from this path. And so we will be opening it up to you folks to get some of your insights and your stories. But first, I would like to introduce to you a very special co-host. I had to recruit somebody because I don't want to do this on my own last minute. And so I had to get somebody very special. And I say special because this person happens to be the greatest teacher that I have ever had on the subject of love. This person literally taught me how to love. Before I met this person, I didn't know how to do it. This person taught me. And when I think of this person, there's a quote that comes to mind from Rumi once again. Rumi says, "On the path of love, we are neither masters nor the owners of our lives." And for you artists out here, this is a good one. We are merely a brush in the hand of the master painter. Merely a brush. My co-host proved the truth of this when she entered my life nearly 2 decades ago. She's the yin to my yang, my missing puzzle piece, my co-navigator on this adventure called life. I call her Big Mama, but you folks know her as Candace. And so I would like to welcome Candace to come join me. Thank you. I know, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the story. So Ollie is an only child. I'm not sure if all of you know that. And he was very fortunate to have to receive unconditional love from both his parents, which I found is very rare. Unfortunately, though, they never taught him how to love others. They always put him first, and he learned to do the same, to put himself first, always, over everyone. So when we first started dating, I got the sense that he was used to getting his own way. For instance, our first Halloween together, after he scoffed at my excitement over pumpkin carving and refused to accept my generous offer to buy him a pumpkin, he sat there with bored indifference and just watched me enjoy carving a pumpkin. But slowly, very slowly, his disinterest morphed into something else. As I enjoyed my pumpkin, he began to micromanage how and what I was doing. And eventually, he literally removed the carving knife from my hand and proceeded to do it correctly. Correctly, exactly. He also would not let me touch his pumpkin after that. It was his pumpkin, and I could watch, but I was not allowed to touch it. So from that day on, I learned a few important things. That sharing, unfortunately, was not one of his strong suits. His openness, though, allowed him to adapt to new ideas and to always, even when he insisted he didn't want one, to always buy Oliver a pumpkin. So I couldn't really blame him for this. It was due to his upbringing. Another example of this is that his father, Marcel, every year on Marcel's birthday, would ask Oliver, "Oliver, what do you want for my birthday?" So every year on his father's birthday, Oliver got gifts.
Is that Is that not normal?
No,
it's not
I would get
standard?
gifts on your
I like
birthday.
that.
no, it's not normal.
Don't all parents ask their kids what they want on their birthday? That's why I thought that was all upbringing.
So unfortunately, no. In my experience, I have had my birthday forgotten on more than one occasion. I was taught or conditioned to put others first. And through this, I never learned to put myself first. This led to me being unable to enforce boundaries because ultimately I was afraid of being rejected. So loving Ollie, falling in love with Ollie was absolutely terrifying. People use the phrase falling in love. They make it sound pleasant, romantic. That was not my experience. Falling in love with Ollie it felt like the floor had been ripped from underneath my feet. Like I was skydiving without a parachute. It felt like losing control. And even though I'd always loved fiercely, this was a new type of love. So as Khalil Gibran writes in The Prophet, and think not that you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course.
Yeah. Thanks, babe. Thanks for outing me as a selfish, self-centered person. So again, just speculating here, it seems like whereas I never learned to put others in front of me, Candace never learned to put herself first. That was her default setting. So when we moved in together, she gave me a living, breathing example of what it looks like to actually put other people first. And a lot of the stuff that she would do when she put other people first didn't really make sense to my only child, self-centered brain. Like one example, and this is very trivial, but I remember it to this day because it was like, why is she doing that? We'd be eating dinner and I would always finish my food first, obviously, because I'm a pig. And she would see this and she would offer me the last bite of her food. And the first time she did this, I was like, what's wrong with her? Like I would never give that's my food. Like I eat with my elbows around my plate. But, as this was happening, it was like, okay, wait a second. So maybe this is what people do when they love each other. And because I knew I loved her and I do love her, I started to practice like, oh, this last bite I really want it. But it's like,
so it's the most delicious bite.
Do you
the
want
first and the last.
Yeah. So that's just one very trivial example. Obviously, I wanted to make her feel good the way she made me feel good. And so I just started to kind of follow her cues. And that's how I started to actually be able to put other people ahead of me. Now, at this point, it wasn't a lot of people. It was one person. But that was the catalyst for me to be able to actually do it for others, right? So that's why I say that she taught me how to love. So yeah, it wasn't always easy to give her the last bite of food, but in the end, what I discovered through Candace is a timeless truth, and I express it as such. It feels good to do good. It's selfish in a way because it actually feels good to do good things for people, to be nice to people, to make them feel good, to bring joy to one heart with love, right? And if it wasn't for you, I don't know that I would have learned that. So that's why you're my greatest teacher.
Well, it goes both ways because through all of her, I am slowly learning the opposite or complementary lesson, the importance of having clear boundaries. And from time to time, I do put myself first now. So in this way, Ollie and I have been able to balance each other out. And along the way, we've been blessed to experience all the shades of love together. Because as many of you know, in the English language, there's only one word for love. But the Greeks had 7 different aspects of love. And some of you may know, but I'm going to share them with you now. So the first one is philotia, which is compassionate self-love. Then there's storge, unconditional, familiar love. Philia, intimate, authentic friendship. Ludos, playful, flirtatious love. Eros, romantic, passionate love. Pragma, committed, compassionate love. And agape, which is universal love. Together, Ollie and I, through our kids, our friends, family, and now with this wonderful community, have been experiencing all that love has to offer. Now that we've shared a little bit about some of the lessons that love has taught us, we want to hear your stories from your journey on your paths of love. What types of love have you experienced? And what have you learned from them? Who have been some of your greatest teachers on this subject? When have you felt the most love? And what do you wish to pass along to the members of this community?
Thanks everybody for being here. It's been, like I said, wonderful, insightful, emotional, all the good things. And as always, we appreciate all of your contributions, whether it's wisdom, insight, energy, skills, whatever you've got to offer. What is given is received back tenfold. Anything that you invest in this community is for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
As the Black Eyed Peas were singing and rapping, where is the love? It's right here with all of us in this very room. The very essence of each and every one of our beings is love. The way to transform our lives and our world is by radiating our sacred selves for the collective good of all out into the world. We can do this together by walking the path of love.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, right.